The season 4 finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer was such a weird episode. I loved it. I loved it. It felt very David Lynch, Twin Peaks. It felt very experimental. It felt very like, we're almost on season 5 of this hit TV show. We do what we want. We're renewed anyways. Why don't we just play with form a little bit and confuse the fuck out of our audience just for funsies? And I really love and respect a TV show that does that. I really do. So let's get into it. My first clue that something was different about this episode was the fact that they skipped their cold open. And I know I'm hip to it now. When this show does something different with their cold open or their title sequence, I know something is afoot. And I was correct, because we get thrust into this very interesting movie night at Joyce's, where we are now in Willow's dreamland, where she's like painting on Tara's back and it's like fading into the school, and now it's Xander and Oz is there for some reason, and then we're like at the theater, we're in the drama department, and the play, like the whole play situation where she doesn't know what's going on and or like what her lines are and they haven't practiced, that is a literal dream I've had, many actors have had, where you show up and you're about to go on stage and you haven't prepared, and it's a stress dream, and I've had it, and I was seeing it right before my eyes on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was very triggering, actually. This show also does a great job at reminding its audience that witchcraft is indeed a thinly veiled sexual allegory. Do not forget it, because they continue to use it over and over and over again in place of things they want to do and say but can't, due to censorship. And I respect them for that, because they're like, don't you forget it, this is what we're doing and this is what it actually means. Okay, you got it? Good. Okay, witchcraft, right. Anyways, Giles as the drama professor makes a lot of sense for him. I'm screaming. Riley was a cowboy. I was like, that also makes sense for him as well. Okay, so unless I'm tripping, and I don't think I am, some of this was shot for shot a Twin Peaks reference. There's a specific part where she's like in between the theater stage and she's surrounded on all sides by like these red drapes. Yeah. And it's a dream sequence and it's very surreal, with Tara and Willow thinking someone is following her. Y'all, I need my Twin Peaks people to pull up, because there's no way, especially there's no way. I refuse to believe that this show, coming out, I think it was like the year 2000 or almost 2001 at this point, was not referencing Twin Peaks, one of the most popular cult like phenomenons of the 90s. Even though Twin Peaks was short-lived, it had a lasting impact on genre television. There's no way that wasn't a direct reference to that, especially with the dream sequence. Again, my Twin Peaks fans will understand. Twin Peaks, my OG, I was deeply obsessed for a few years. I know a David Lynch reference when I see one. It's very serious. Okay. Anyways, loved that. When Riley goes, I've come looking for a man, a salesman. I was like, okay, well, let's get Riley into some acting classes. This is really serious. Her costume, Willow being, I think it was Willow wearing the costume, correct me if I'm wrong, being a metaphor for her being in the closet, but everyone already knows. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. And then we have Tara and Oz ganging up on her in the dream. Hello. I wrote at this point, this is the weirdest finale I have ever seen. Then we get to the point where we're now entering other people's dreamscapes, and I realize that they're all connected, and that's scary. But something so deeply foul happens at this point. We have, Joyce coming onto Xander. Y'all, I wish to have that erased from my brain. What was that? I hated every second of that. Deeply uncomfortable. Hated it. We then go quickly onto a scene where Spike is on a swing set and he goes, Giles is gonna teach me how to be a watcher. Says I have the stuff in this like crazy outfit. And then Giles goes, come on, put your back into it. A watcher scoffs at gravity while swinging. That entire sequence, unbelievable. 10 out of 10, no notes. And then we have Tillo kissing off screen. I'm like, ooh, we're really pushing boundaries here. Unfortunately, we have Xander acting deeply inappropriate in this scene. Deeply inappropriate, very problematic. I guess this being his dreamscape, I'm like, I'm not surprised that like two back-to-back deeply problematic things happen. First, we have Joyce coming on to him, which was really fucking weird. And then we have him, like, dreaming up that Tillo invites him to sexy times in the back of his ice cream truck. Like, it makes sense for him, unfortunately. I mean that in a derogatory fashion. I'm like, I hate this stereotype of, like, the male friend sexually fetishizing, like, WLW relationships. Anyways, I could get on a soapbox. I'm not going to. I'll spare you all from that conversation, but I was just like, God, spare me from this. Then we have the Cheese Man. The Cheese Man. What was the fucking Cheese Man about? Cheese Man all up in everybody's dreamscape. I was like, this is so scary. This is like Twin Peaks meets Doctor Who. Who is this man? He must be the common thread. What's going on? We never get that question answered, which is very David Lynch of them. Very David Lynch of them. He was scaring the shit out of me this whole time. I was like, this guy's going to be the key to everything. He wasn't. He wasn't. What are your guys' theories on the Cheese Man? I'm curious. Then we have Giles speaking in French, but it's like dubbing. Hilarious, deeply funny. I was like, what is genuinely happening? Now he's in an apocalypse now for some reason. The principal returns. The principal returns in the weirdest way possible, calling him a whipping boy on a sacrificial stone. Oh, right. And then we have Xander's abusive dad. There's a lot to unpack here with Xander's dream, right? We have some deeply problematic behavior, but then we also have some deeply weird, like, abusive themes in his dreamscape, and it does just make me wonder if they're insinuating that, like, Xander is deeply abused. We could go on. And in fact, when I'm, like, done with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'm going to do a few deep dives on some of these characters and, like, some of the headcanons I have to see, because I want to see what's confirmed in canon before I start speculating. But, like, I've speculated quite a bit about what's going on with Xander psychically. But anyways, let's move on. Now we're in Giles's dream. And Giles dreaming about Buffy being his daughter. So cute. A little weird, but cute. And Spike in black and white for some reason, taking pictures. We had to include Spike, and I like that he's in Giles's dream because he's always fucking annoying Giles for some reason, and I think that's funny. Giles singing again, communicating through song, makes sense for him. We have a scary-ass monster scalping Giles. Hello? Horrendous, which must have been an Apocalypse Now reference. And now we have Buffy's mom living in the wall. For sure. Why the hell not? Riley and Human Adam being shills for the government. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I said unrelated, but Buffy in this dress with the cherries on it was very, very cute. Very, very cute. And then we have Tara being the mouthpiece for the monster. We get introduced to, like, the first Slayer, which, again, I'm like, whoa, okay, like, there are some problematic elements to this, but, you know, I'm not gonna go into it. We had the Cheese Man coming out of nowhere again, Slayer fight in the desert, you know what I mean, like, it's given Dune. They all woke up, and the spirit of the first Slayer tried to kill them all for some reason. Why not? Why not, I say. I literally wrote in all caps, what about the man with the cheese? I'm still stuck on that, to be honest. And then we have a very important quote of what's to come. You think you know what's to come, who you are. You haven't even begun. Woo! We got a lead up into season 5, y'all. I'm so excited. Quite a finale. Took me for a ride, it sure did. And I love them experimenting with weird shit just because they can. It's my favorite thing about TV. All right. That being said, we have now concluded season 4 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My next grouping of videos will be finishing out season 1 of Angel. So stay tuned.